Made Up Movies bonus features. Oh yeah. Bonus. Bonus. Made Up Movies bonus features. Oh yeah. Bonus. Bonus. Made Up Movies bonus features. Oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to Made Up Movies bonus features. I'm Mike Kohler. With me, as always, is the sticky to my icky Matt Shore, and he's
hey, what's up?
Over here. We're currently at Mammoth Video in the alternate dimension, trying to find a Patreon movie for you guys. And we're at a video store here. It still exists. They're not all defunct, and it's actually a very nice store. It's like, it reminds me of like a Borders or a Barnes and Noble.
It's surprisingly nice. I mean,
there's a lot of people here. It's a Wednesday afternoon, and there's a lot of people around. It's kind of weird.
It's like the best Blockbuster I ever been to. They don't like it when I say Blockbuster in here, but
yeah, people give you a weird look when you say Blockbuster.
It's got a lot of tapes in here.
Stop saying it. But anyway, we're trying to find a movie to watch in this alternate dimension. There's a lot of weird stuff, but. Yeah, if you got anything over there, Matt? You got find anything? Because you've been looking for a minute. Nothing's good enough for Matt.
A lot of Sandra Bernhardt movies in this dimension. I'm trying to sift through them. She's sort of like the Meryl Streep of this dimension. It's
everybody loves her. She's held to a very high esteem in this dimension. It's
There's
weird.
also a lot of animated movies of like just different. You know. That worm from Chalet, he's really popular in this dimension too. It's bizarre.
I never saw Chalet. That wasn't me.
Whatever. We had a good time on that one, Colsey.
Okay. Well,
you almost died with Metallica. I remember that.
That was Stony crazy. Sharp. That was your guest host, Stony Sharp.
Whatever. I don't like to remember that whole Iceland period of our lives. It's
it
really tore us apart.
It was a week, and it wasn't that bad.
Scary, very scary. Don't like it. Don't care for it.
Right, well,
you finding anything? We need to find a movie for these Patreon, or they're going to realize that they wasted their money.
All right. Okay. What about? Hey, this one looks good. You like war movies, right?
No, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, you're gonna love. You're gonna love this.
I don't care for them.
Okay, well, you know what? You don't like any Sandra Bernhardt movies, so I mean,
I don't.
At some point,
and she's in a lot of war movies.
All right,
this one is just her riding a submarine. It's called Going Down. She looks like she's.
That's a very. What section are you in? What section is this?
Oh, this is XXX Oscar-winning Sandra Bernhardt movies. God,
this is a huge section. How many?
The genres in this dimension are really weird.
Man.
This one is just animated tapeworms.
It's not behind a curtain. It's not behind a curtain or anything. It's just
no. They're a little bit more open with their sexuality in this dimension.
Okay, well here this actually sounds interesting. It doesn't sound like any war movie I've ever seen. It's called
Wow Me.
It's called D Butterscotch Boys. D Butterscotch Boys. It must be German.
Butterscotch Boys.
D Butterscotch Boys. DIE. And it's
I gotcha.
Yeah,
it's like a
D bar D.
Music podcast.
It's German. Yeah.
We had German class. You should know the article for this.
Well, I thought it said Die Butterscotch Boys, like Die Pussycat or Faster Pussycat. Kill.
Faster Pussycat. It's an imperative to kill these. Wait, so it's D Butterscotch Boys?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, why are the kids on the cover so plump?
Plump. Okay, so the synopsis is. A platoon of chubby, bumbling, sweet-lovey German children must undermine the Nazis in order to restore the good name of German chocolatiers. I mean, that's...
chocolatiers.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
All right.
Well, the Mammoth Video here has private viewing rooms, so why don't we just go in the back?
Sandra Bernhardt's not going to pop out of this room, is she?
I hope she does. Oh, my God. Then it'd be going down for real, if you know what I mean.
Ah, boy. There's
me on her because I'm a feminist.
Right? Is there a steakhouse? Is that a steakhouse over there in the Mammoth Video? What is?
Oh yeah.
That's a Ruth Chris. That's a Ruth Chris. What the hell?
It's Ruth's Chris's, I think.
Oh,
in this dimension, there's even more needless apostrophes in the name of it. It's RU apostrophe TH apostrophe Roots.
It is. I was wondering, like, what are all those apostrophes even doing? I mean, I was an English major, but I don't know what that means.
Actually, you know what? Some of those apostrophes are worms. They're more marketing for these worm films that are very popular.
It's a weird dimension that...
they got the Starbucks, so that's part of this bit. It's not just me drinking a Starbucks during the recording.
Good.
This diegetic sound is so delicious.
Pretty good diegetic sound. Pretty good diegetics. So should we go to the booth? Or?
Oh my god, it's so diegetic.
All right. It's diegetic is not.
Did you ever
does not
actually
mean not
watch
fat.
that? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said diegetic doesn't mean it's like low calorie. Just so you know, it's still like a chocolate whipped.
It's not it's diegetic, but it ain't dietetic. So watch what you eat. It's cold brew. Goes right through you. It can't give you calories or nothing.
That's true.
It's not the chocolate one. Although that is really good. Trying to cut back on the old sugar.
Yeah.
In this dimension and the other. Although in this dimension, the sugar candy here just makes your hair regrow. It's really tasty too. It's not too sour, not too sweet. It's the perfect candies. It's so good. But you gotta, it makes your hair regrow, but it does attract the brain lizards in this dimension, which
what are you supposed to do? It's give and take. Everything is give and take in every dimension. Yeah. What are you supposed to do?
It's like what they say. It's cruel to be kind. So I don't know if that applies here.
I don't know if that applies here.
Let's go
to the
back
lizards.
To that. No, it's your own body because the candy's good, but then the lizards will infest it, and then you will
they are
do their bidding. As is one with them. So, all right, let's go into this private viewing area.
Jeez,
and
it smells pine fresh in here. It's so clean.
Oh yeah. You'll notice they have their own sets of goggles in here where we can sort of like
that's weird. And I noticed that watching a video doesn't cost anything. And
no, yeah, it's free, and they have top of the line goggles, not like the ones we use.
Yeah.
But,
also, this is across from our studio in the other dimension. It's literally I can see this from our window. So
I get what you're saying. We could have been here the whole time.
Yeah, that's what
I don't know. It's a little creepy to spend this much time in the other dimension, don't you think? I mean, green skies, Sandra Bernhard.
Oh god. Brain lizards fine, but Sandra Bernhard. All right.
I mean, they detonate our neurons a little bit, and I have to go to the doctor every week after we record. But like, come on. Don't be a bitch, you know.
They do. I mean, it does fit me very comfortably at this point. It's basically molded. Exactly. I molded it back to my head after Kat and Stoney used it. So,
yeah, Kat's got that big shock of red hair. I didn't realize
how. Yeah, I thought she had a big head. I think it's just her hair. It's crazy.
It's just her hair. It's like a cushion. It's pretty crazy. All right, so let's put these on and just. I guess I don't know. I've never jammed a disc or wow. The movies come in cubes in this dimension, so I'll just take this cube and jam it in there. It's not fitting good. Just
I think it's like an old VCR. It just sort of sucks it in. You don't need to jam it.
Get it. There we go.
That's really jammed it in there. Jesus. Damage the cube. It's not really. It's like a rhombus now.
It's rhombus, not rhombus. I think rhombus
in this dimension,
it's the monsters and wild things.
In this dimension, it's the rhombus.
All right, the wild rhombus has begun, and I just jammed it into my goggles. So you're gonna have to, we're gonna have to actually
share a goggle with you.
No. We just have to place our lips really close together while we watch this.
I forgot.
It's actually heads, but I just feel it's more comfortable for me if we use lips.
Well, it's a point on faces where they connect. So I mean, it's
fine. All right. So let's flick. Oh, whoa. Oh, exciting. And, I accidentally kissed you there a little bit.
Yeah, okay, that was, were you excited about seeing...
I'm accidentally keeping on doing it.
Stop. All right. The movie's over. Stop.
Okay, all right. Sorry. It was just super romantic seeing all those kids. I mean,
something about seeing those chubby children, really? Please do.
It just made me wish we had chubby children of our own. Come on.
All children are chubby, and they're all around.
When they come out of your gaping... Wait, what am I even saying?
Why? What?
I just wish you weren't such a sallow whore. I mean,
Okay.
hey, we can really lean into saying inappropriate things because this is a paid episode. So watch out,
geez.
you big doodad. I can't think of anything inappropriate now.
Would you say Sandra Bernhardt is a sallow?
I don't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't want her to come for me in either dimension.
I mean, I do want her to come for me, but only if I'm going down, like in the sun movie.
Hi-yo! Here we are.
That's where I live.
All right.
That's where Mammoth Video was once upon a time in our dimension.
In our dimension, it
That's
existed, and here it's like the Ritz-Carlton. It's nice.
It's the Ritz-Carlton. I mean, I do want to try the Mammoth Video water slide afterwards.
I know. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like, but it's a giant slide. It's like 5 stories tall.
I do feel a little uncomfortable because they make you go down shirtless because they're like very free in this dimension.
That's just normal water slides. You shouldn't wear a shirt in the swimming pool.
I know, but I just feel like I should wear a swim shirt because they have so many bikini babes in this dimension. And
But they don't judge you here. They don't judge you here. They're not judging.
I know, but it's not about them judging me. It's about my own insecurity in front. I mean, because like even if they don't actively judge you, they've got to see, I mean, when there's a lot of ripped dudes in this dimension too.
There are. There's so many strong guys in this dimension. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the gym in the Mammoth Video store, but it's like,
oh yeah, there's a Mammoth gym in here too.
the
Makes you as strong
steroids,
and extinct
the Mammoth
as a
steroid
woolly
store. It could be. Who knows?
Oh yeah, wow. There's a GNC right there.
Yeah, but
It's
there's like
steroids available.
HGH is not. That's not normally sold at.
Oh, isn't that just the first George Bush's initials? George HGH Bush?
Yep, 9/11 was an inside job.
No, you can't say. Oh wait, you can. It's Patreon, so it don't matter none.
Plus, it was
Investigate 311. Subscribe to my YouTube. Man, this is awesome. I love Patreon.
rules. Patreon rules.
No limits to what I can.
No limits, you sallow.
Listen to Bunker Brothers. Hell yeah, this is amazing.
So,
all right, let's talk about this film.
Should we talk about the movie? Yeah, let's talk about it.
So this movie, it was surprisingly well made in terms of like special effects and stuff.
Yeah,
I thought.
it had like it looked like a little less quality than Saving Private Ryan, but not by much, right? Like,
it was not quite like Saving Private Ryan, but
that also might have just been like Steven Spielberg being a great director. Like maybe they had the budget, but they didn't have the spiel.
I'm sure there's been plenty of Spider-Man movies since that have had a bigger budget than Saving Private Ryan that still looked a lot shittier than Saving Private Ryan. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
Nah,
Saving Private Ryan. Well, I know for a fact that Spider-Man 3 cost $300 million to make.
Jesus
and at
Christ.
the time...
What did they spend the money on? The guy from fucking
that's
Sideways?
CG, I think.
Oh.
No, because the Sandman effects, there was like a big deal about how cutting edge that was. And now it just looks like every PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah.
That's a problem with spending a lot on CG, is it's like it's all gonna look shitty. Oh, this is neither here nor there, but I was watching, I'd never seen it before, you've probably seen it, but Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Yeah.
And there's a sequence in which basically Kung Pao Enter the Fist is like it's like a kung fu movie where this like white guy edited himself in somehow or something. I don't know how it worked, but like it's basically making fun of Asian cinema, pretty racist. But also there's a sequence where he fights a CGI cow.
Yeah.
And it's a major sequence, and it's like that CGI cow is just like the worst animated thing in the world.
That scene goes on forever too. Which is really
I know, and it's so gross. There's so much other stuff in it too. Very weird.
It's really that's a weird movie, but also it's if you can ignore all the racist stuff, it's still kind of funny, I guess. Maybe, I don't know.
That movie seems like it takes place in the alternate dimension. I mean, there's a chick with one boob in it. That's a real movie. I can't believe it.
I feel like I saw the movie 10 years ago. I can't remember the last time I saw that movie. But I do remember that cow scene very vividly.
Yeah, it was the first time I like was aware of it. I remember seeing the previews and being like, "Oh, that's dumb." And then I watched some of it last night, and I was laughing. I mean, it's like it's just like a National Lampoon, National Lampoon's Naked Gun type, like an airplane style.
Every other joke, every other like line is a bit, basically.
Yeah, but it's like it's got the added ickiness of being a it's like white guys stunting on Asian culture in a lot of it, which
was very popular until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, unfortunate but true, but very true.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah. Well, I'm not getting into the politics of that. But,
no, it's Patreon. You can go on.
No, it's stupid.
Okay.
It's pointless, but it's just icky and racist, and like the Mickey Rooney thing, and like Breakfast at Tiffany's and stuff like that. And even in the 80s, I think there's a Christmas Story. There's some stuff where they're making fun of Asian people, and it's just it's.
I mean, it went on for a long time. It went on until the early 2000s, I would say.
This is short trivia. I have Asian cousins and an Asian uncle in real life. Half Asian cousins and a fully Asian uncle. And so I have Asian relatives. And so every time I just feel a little bit deeper than...
I thought you were going to say you can make the jokes.
No. I would never make the jokes because I feel too deeply.
Oh, I get it. So you're
it's
sort
because
of...
I'm such a good cousin.
I get it. Yeah, you're co-opting their actual feelings.
No, I'm not co-opting anything. I'm saying because it's like, because you know how like I have a black friend.
Do you?
So I mean, in college. So
okay. Yeah.
I mean, once. So. I mean,
so what? What is the end of that sentence?
I'm just saying. I'm not virtue signaling. I'm just saying I want everyone to know I have a black friend.
Okay.
In fact, I'm trying to collect one of each kind of race.
Okay,
like
see, this is where I think you might.
So that
I think you might have an
I
issue.
can point to them and say, "See, it's okay that I'm wearing this."
They're just gonna follow you around, and you're gonna point to them. That's very offensive.
This is totally neither here nor there, but because I feel like Pamela, our current Patreon subscriber, might enjoy it, I'm going to go there. Yeah. So my friend Max, who is on Bunker Brothers, he played our cousin Green Gobbins in the veterinarian episode. If you don't know what Bunker Brothers is, it's our old it's like an audio sitcom show in the vein of It's Always Sunny that we did about two half brothers who inherit their late father's bunker. Each week a guest comes on. We had like guys from The Simpsons on and all sorts of cool stuff. It feels freeing to do it on Patreon because I'm like, I don't know, whatever. You're already here. You already like us. So basically, but Max got into like an argument with his girlfriend about, whether or not she likes this. I think this is like not me talking out of school, but I wanted to get your opinion on it because I definitely discussed this with him because he's very politically woke and has like done some really good political stuff. Like he was campaigning like actively during the pandemic, even though it was dangerous in Georgia to get Biden elected. Jeez. And like those are the votes that really counted. So I was like, damn, I sometimes make fun of him for like going to every single protest and shit. But like it was when it came down to the wire in Georgia, I was like, shit, I'm glad you went door to door.
Yeah, jeez.
Like, thank God. But so he's on the more like cautious and woke end of the spectrum. And I haven't met his girlfriend, but she loves I think like Southwestern and Native American aesthetic in terms of decorating and stuff like that. Yeah. And so Max she got like a pillow that he thought looked like vaguely Native American-y. And this is like a conversation they've had before where he's like worried she's like decorating her home in like cultural appropriation style.
Yeah.
And so they got into a big argument about this pillow and whether the pillow was cultural appropriation. And I was wondering if you thought like, you know, at what point does it become like
satire?
No, at what point does it become, you know, the dad in Get Out, Bradley Whitford?
Oh,
like,
yes,
I would have voted for Obama a third time if I could have. You know, like that meme of like virtue signaling so hard that
is offensive. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're just cosplaying. Like I need to sound so knowledgeable about the plight of a minority group that you're just like You're
I guess,
overcompensating in a very obvious way. Like you're going from being an ally to cosplaying as like the most virtuous person in the world a little bit.
Did she buy it from a Native American, or did she buy it at World Market? Because that might depend on how racist the pillow is.
I think if I don't know her that well because they met while he had in the past couple of years when we were already in different parts of the country.
Sure.
But I believe that she buys stuff from wherever. She just likes this aesthetic. So it might be secondhand, it might be yard sale, it might be Etsy, it might be whatever. I don't think she is actively saying, I love Native American stuff. I think she likes like what in California would just be like hippie fringe stuff that has a slightly, in some cases, has a slightly Southwestern Native American vibe to it. Like there's crossover. It's not like she's like being like, I only like this kind of wind catcher because it's this tribe or something like that. I apologize to our Native American friends if ever we have a Native American friend who listens. But I am not super knowledgeable. Most of my recent Native American knowledge or Indian knowledge, it comes from Reservoir Dogs. Or not Reservoir Dogs, wait, Reservation Dogs.
Oh, I thought you Reservoir Dogs. What the fuck? Mr.
I've got it. Yeah. I'm a cop. That's what I learned.
Steve Buscemi is I had no idea. I know he was there on 9/11. I didn't know he was...
Wait, really? Oh man, that's a whole other thing.
He's a
Kohler doesn't believe
on 9/11. No, I mean that all sounds honestly arguing about a pillow. I think at that point it seems a little silly. I don't. If that's what she likes and it's not. You're not necessarily like. Yeah, you're not trying to present yourself in a certain way. It's just like what you like. I feel like honestly that seems fairly mild to me, but I don't know.
I think it depends on like. I don't think like. The pillow is matters that much out of context. However, if they're having like a dinner party or having another couple over, and like imagine like you bring over somebody, imagine you bring over a Native American couple and you're like I assume whites, and I mean. Yeah, I mean white, right?
White, yeah, you're white.
It's we're parsing things. I'm like, is being hereditarily Jewish considered white? I mean, I don't know.
No, you're Jewish.
But anyway, non-Native American people who look for all intents and purposes white, covering their homes in my head, the house is just covered with, Native American stuff. And you like walk into that and you'll be like, did they put this up for us?
Right. I mean, that's like, I guess if it goes to that extent, maybe it's a little weird, but again, it's like, you're not, it's just because you like, it's not like you're not doing it ironically. If you actually like it, I don't see what the issue is, I guess. You're not, I don't know.
Do you remember when things got like really into that vein where it was like my culture is not your prom dress thing?
Yeah.
Where it was like don't wear something. And I understand that to a certain extent too, but it's also hard for me to understand because it's like when I grew up the idea was that like of the American melting pot where like all cultures come together and we take a little piece of everything and it becomes this more interesting amalgamation of cultures where it's like, and of course like all of American culture is just a mix of other cultures that came before, but I think it's different when it's like white people stealing Black or Native American culture, because then it's just like, hey, we really mistreated your culture specifically, but we'll take what we like from it. It's like a little bit more,
but it's like it's not like people come over and it's just like she's like that lady who pretended to be Black or whatever.
Oh my God, Rachel Dolezal or whatever. That was. I mean, that's like,
in my mind, that's appropriating culture.
That's like appropriating a whole race and being like, I pass, so
you're
I can
benefiting
just do whatever I
from
want.
that being that race. Like if she's not benefiting from decorating her house, I don't know. I don't.
Well, also like the idea that you're basically cosplaying as Black to actively receive entitlements meant for disenfranchised Black people.
That's an insane thing.
Because because even the perspective of that is just the most racist thing. Like, if you think black people have an easier life, so you're switching to black to take that, like, that's the most insane. Like, you take all of the benefits of getting, like, any affirmative action programs that were made to counteract the imbalance, and you're switching sides. Yeah. Like, that's the most fucking insane. All right. But enough discussion of racial politics. Let's talk about the Nazis.
Let's play these fucking Nazis. These fucking white, shitty people who fucking think they're so cool, except these kids who are actually the good guys in this, but that's whatever.
So in this movie, it's like kids who are like the sons and daughters of German chocolatiers who don't like the Nazis.
They're anti-Nazi. So they were raised in like the whatever, like they all went to Hitler Youth Camp, like in like all Hitler,
in
like
Jojo
all Jews
Rabbit
were
style.
Yeah. But
like all what? All Jews?
All Jews and Hitler. All the unions.
And we just had a My Cousin Vinny. These two youths. I was
these unions.
I literally thought you said use as in Y-O-U-S-E.
I did say use.
Like, hey, use over here.
You can say it in this dimension. It's fine. I'm appropriating that Italian culture that I always do.
But I also thought you might have like picked up an Icelandic like dropping the J sound.
Oh no, I speak constantly in Icelandic now, which is I guess probably offensive. But,
like you're Scandinavian, like Ren's cousin or Stimpy's cousin. And
also, I only wear whale fur and
whale fur
and dolphin.
In this dimension, whales are the furriest motherfuckers.
They're mammals. They got fur.
Mammals. They got fur. Oh my god, that wet fur whale smell is gonna stink.
Or like puffin, or like a suit of puffin armor, and then
no, because they're so small.
I know you need a lot of them. You need a lot of them for the one.
It's just full puffins, stuffed puffins, just like a suit, like a Game of Thrones style cloak made of stitched together puffins.
I need it over 200 puffins.
The beaks are sharp and they clack when I move.
It's uncomfortable. I don't wear that often, but you know, it still looks nice.
You look great in it. That's the thing when your hair is long and you got the beard.
I'm appropriating Viking culture very hard, but it's fine because I'm already white. Well, I'm Croatian, so I don't know what that is. I guess white.
Yeah, Croatian Vikings are different though. All they do is shit on Italy.
All they do is sell your daughter into the sex industry.
Is that true? Or is that just like Eastern European stereotypes?
That's just Eastern European stereotypes. That's just taken.
It's not Bulgaria. Be nice to yourself.
I can make those
really
jokes
go off on
because I'm Croatian.
Yeah, and just like how I have a black friend, so get ready for my cool freestyle. What it's like to grow up on the streets.
Can't stop.
I'm Juicy Matt. And
no, stop Juicy.
You don't
Matt.
like Juicy Matt as my name?
I don't like. How's it spelled?
I honestly don't want to say because it's a little offensive.
I don't think you should say.
It's too hot for Patreon. Let's talk about these chocolatier boys. So, like, we got
Hans. I think they all have H names, classic German names like Hans, Hansel. What's the other one?
Hans, Hansel, Henrietta.
yeah. I think there is a girl that's hiding as like is disguised as like a boy because she wants to fight against the Nazis.
Right. And well, they also meet, a bunch of them anyway, meet at the Hitler Youth Camp, and they're like, this is bullshit, man. I fucking hate this shit. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, there's I think like one or two of them that because they all have some connection to chocolate,
right?
Either they're just like, and I think because they do all these like calisthenics and like exercises in the Hitler Youth thing, right?
They don't like exercising. They just want to eat chocolates like they could before the war.
Right. They are what we'd affectionately call strudel munchin'.
They're little strudel munchers.
Yeah, so these strudel munchins, I mean, that's so much fun to say.
The bad guy or whatever, like the camp counselor, I guess.
Hitler? You mean Donald Trump?
No, I can't get into this again. No, the guy at the camp, not Hitler. The guy, not Hitler. The guy teaching them.
Who would you say is worse? The guy at the camp? Donald Trump? Voldemort? Or Sandra Bernhardt?
In this dimension?
I don't know. I think it's the worm.
But no, right, he hates them because they, he says, stop eating their chocolate. Stop trying to eat chocolate. You got to help the Fuhrer and help all of Deutschland.
Herr Holst.
But I think at this point, it's like, I don't think these kids would have been picked to be in a platoon if it was like earlier in the war. But because they're running out of bodies, they'll take anybody at this point.
Well, they do form their own platoon too, because that's where they sort of get their idea. They learn military tactics from the Hitler Youth Camp that they later use against the Nazis.
They are all very smart, despite their. I mean, I feel like I'm being mean. I'm not trying to be mean to these kids, but it's like that's how they're portrayed.
You were gonna say they're smart, even though they're fat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Well, I'll tell you a story of another young, smart little boy who used to be fat. Right. Donald Trump. I was going to do myself, but it's funny if it's Trump.
Donald Trump was a fat little boy. And then he grew to be the worst Hitler of them all.
So you think Hitler wasn't that bad?
No,
I can't cancel you on a Patreon episode.
Was Hitler fat? I don't know if Hitler was fat.
No. I mean...
He was an artist. He was a starving artist.
Yeah. He's like Yusuke in Persona 5. They're basically the same.
Hitler would have had a podcast, and
oh my god! I mean, if Hitler had an Instagram and could have gotten his shitty art out that way, and just had idiots fawning over it there, and the Holocaust might not have happened.
Yeah, if Hitler could just sell NFTs, the Holocaust would have been avoided. But
then again, with social media's propensity for alt-right stuff, maybe it would have double happened. I don't know.
Double Holocaust? Oh, jeez.
Oh, no. So basically, the kids meet up. These Strudel Munchins meet up at this camp, and they're like, "Fuck these." Do you think that they initially hate the Nazis because of their politics? They later definitely see the atrocities committed when they get into active war settings, and they see the atrocities of war, and they realize how bad the Nazis really are. But do you think, because they're at basically a propaganda camp, right, where it's just everything's great and the leader will take us to perfection.
Everything's great except there's not as much chocolate because it's all being used for the war effort, right? There's no time to.
Yeah. And there is a scene later in the movie where, despite his thinness, it's just Hitler eating a big pile of chocolate.
Yeah, his vault is full of chocolate, like it's Fort Knox of chocolate, which is really weird.
And Hitler has kids who he famously, I think he and Eva, poisoned or something.
He killed them all in that vault, and I assume it was either with the Turkish delights or with the coconut. And they had so many sweets in that bunker. At the end, I don't know.
Listen to Bunker Brothers, by the way. Great pod. But
thank you.
Ad trend. See, that's how you get them with the ads. So the basic idea is that they meet up and they form sort of like a Stranger Things group of ragtag kids. Right. But my question to you was that, do you think, is it initially that they hate the Nazis, or is it they just hate anyone who keeps them away from their precious chocolate?
I think it's they hate keeping them away from their good lives as little strudel munchins, and they don't want to go out into the world. They're kids, they don't want to have to fight in a war. They just want to sit at home and eat chocolate. Who can argue?
Get over how hilariously plump these kids are, and how they are constantly dressed like little mountaineers with their green lederhosen
and they're
and white
very
shirts
adorable.
and Peter Pan hats.
Yeah,
it's like they look like Augustus Gloop. Almost
all of them.
The
all of them look like little Augustus Gloops, and it's hard to tell them apart at some points because they all have H names too.
Right, and when they even in situations where you're like, oh, they, this one wears pigtails or this one has shorter hair, they're going to be covered in chocolate so quickly that any discerning features are just going to be smudged away by chocolate stains.
Basically, all of their missions are in order to like they save some people, but it's just it's accidentally because they are just trying to get sweets. Like they sort of like stumble into these like being saviors.
Should we talk about the scene where where it's like the breaking point for like the lead kid Hans?
Oh,
He's like Herr Holst is like basically like you're going to do you're going to do a sit up, and he like refuses,
and he makes me eat all that celery.
Yes, exactly. Because he's got this like he like basically straps Hans to this like medieval torture device and is trying to force feed him celery with like, here comes the airplane, and
damn airplane is coming for you,
Here kommt die Airflügen.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Die Flügen.
German's not a hard language. It's just
it's just all die Katze instead of the cat. It's just all the long words that like something that would be a sentence is just it's just one word. So it looks hard because there's no spaces in it. Learn German through Music Pod. If they listen to this episode, is going to get real mad. They're like, that's not true.
I mean, I almost knew German, and I'm a bona fide idiot. So.
Okay, so it's like a torture scene with celery where he's trying to jab him, and he like refuses, and he basically bites Herr Holst's fingers because he thinks he sees chocolate on it, but it's
he sees like does like that cartoon thing where he imagines them as a big piece of chocolate.
He thinks they're like Tootsie Rolls or whatever the German equivalent is. Der Tootsie Rollen, Die Tootsie Rollen,
Das. I think Tootsie Rolls are feminine, so it's Das Tootsie Roll.
No, that's still D. Man, you really don't know German.
I told you, I don't know German.
We met in German class.
I can't read. I can read it. I can't speak it. That's how they meet up. And there's like an American. Should we talk about like this is like towards the end of the war, right? Yeah.
So the Americans are already in the battle, and there's like two adult figures who become their like I mean they're sort of on a secret mission throughout a lot of this movie. To take down the Nazis any way they can. But like it usually involves them doing pranks on Nazi soldiers involving chocolate. Like they hook up like one of their dads is like a chocolatier, and he has this like big container of fudge, and so the kids like hook up like a fire hose to the fudge container, and like splork a lot of Nazi soldiers, and they go slipping down the stairs and end up on a big pile of bodies, and they're actually like set on fire, which was surprising. I don't think that was part of the plan.
Well, yeah, because they're all covered in chocolate, and then Hans like lights a match, and you're like, wait a minute, what? And then he throws it in. And it explodes like it was
alcoholic chocolate.
Right? I guess. I think it was like those. It was like those little chocolates, like liqueurs. But it was.
It's like, chocolate stout or something. I don't know. But it's.
I mean, those Nazis burned.
And then a tank just rolls over all the Nazis, and they go squirting everywhere. And I think a little bit of chocolate gets mixed in. I think that was one of the weirdest things. Is like Hans and Hansel are like the two best friend kids.
Yeah, they're the biggest and chubbiest bumbling boys.
Yeah. And I think Hansel is just like a little bit fatter and a little bit dumber than Hans.
Yeah.
And it's like he's just there to make Hans look more thin and smart.
Yeah.
he's there for comparison's sake. But
I don't know. How do you advertise for child actors for this movie? I don't know.
I guess you just say average German children, and they just come.
Looking for average-sized German children.
Looking for average, or maybe you just say, "Do you work in a chocolate factory or love making chocolate at home?" Yeah, bist du ein Chocolatier? Let me see your kids.
Haben Kinder? Haben Kinder? Ja.
Haben Kinder? Sind Sie sedentarian?
I don't know. Like I said, I can't speak it, but I can read it.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
What does that mean? What is was is das?
Vo? Vo is that coming from? But yeah, so they have like but I want to say when the tank rolls over the bodies, a bunch of chocolate and blood sprays all over Hansel.
Yeah, he licks his lips, little creep.
Yeah, and he's like, cherry flavored. And it's like, I don't know if blood would taste like cherry flavored.
Maybe it was already
just
cherry
like
flavored.
Deranged. I think
it's like, it's like one of those. It's war. Every war is hell, and it takes a toll on children just as much as anybody else.
Is that you thought there was a deeper message in this moment?
Well, it's like it did do that thing in like Saving Private Ryan where it gets like all the sound effects go away and it splats him in the face. And it's like...
Yeah, and there is that weird hallucinogenic CGI sequence where it's almost like the Land of Chocolate from The Simpsons, where it's like there's like a bombing run on the city while they're in, and the kids, as part of their like chocolate fueled derangement, because they also break into a chocolate storage area. They basically inadvertently break into it to hide from a marching Nazi guard and the SS.
It's coming. Like it's sort of like they're like the Nazis are hoarding chocolate rather than gold, which I think is like what they're. I don't know if it's a metaphor, or if it's just the reality of this movie. But
I think it's supposed to be the shipment to Hitler himself. Yeah, because that's where they get on the truck that leads them into the bunker where they find Hitler eating all the chocolate. Where they peek into his offices and see him, yum yum yum, all for me. I'm the chosen one.
This chocolate is my chocolate. Yeah,
and it was weird. Was it weird to you to see Benedict Cumberbatch playing Hitler?
I mean, he killed it. He was a terrifying Hitler, and I mean, he covered in chocolate. It's kind of. I was impressed.
Understand why he wore a little cape, though. I don't think Hitler wore a cape.
I think it's like ever since Doctor Strange, he can't not wear a cape.
Well, also, he would spin the cape around and use it as a bib during the chocolate scene. So maybe it was just a bib, and he was, it was like reversible. It's an reversible cape bib.
No one will see my stains. The stains is on my back, yeah.
It's actually a great idea. Because it's like, wow, you're very messy. No, I have a cape.
Es ist ein Cape, ja. For my Stadt.
Do you think that's how Super Mario discovered that he liked to wear a cape? Is that he was just like eating a big lasagna dinner like Garfield? That could be also how Garfield turns into Super Garfield too. I mean,
he just puts on his blanket. He just puts on his blanket, then he flies away.
If you're on Patreon right now, they have an option for us to make merchandise. If you would like a reversible cape bib, let us know, and we will make one. You can eat chocolate, spaghetti with it. Could be good for dates.
Dude, we could buy like 90 on Alibaba for $1 and resell them for $20 each.
No, not on Alibaba. That's cultural appropriation.
What? I have an app that's Alibaba.
Wow, I don't think you're allowed to say that unless
all the stuff is from China.
Friends.
It's not even from wherever Alibaba is.
Alibaba is the place that Garfield or Super Garfield sent Normal.
No. That is Abu Dhabi.
That's okay. Well, look, they're all fine. We love all people.
I think the implication was they're sending Normal to a terrible place. So maybe it's not fine.
I thought it was just that they were far. That it was far and in the desert. Which I assume the cats would like, 'cause it's like a big litter box.
Oh, that's true. Wait, what?
I feel like if the comic
Are you saying it's a big shithole?
No, I'm saying cats poop in the sand, and
therefore people that are from Abu Dhabi also poop in the sand? What are you saying?
I'm sure at some point they would have had to before buildings were constructed.
That's true. Yeah. All right. I'm not gonna argue
and
this.
One time when I was at Myrtle Beach and the hotel was very far. I think we all know where this is going. And let's just say some hermit crabs. I walked away with a full stomach.
You can't dig too deep because they'll get you. There's stuff in that sand, and it'll bite you right in the butt.
It'll bite your bum.
Yep.
And that's when, if I remember the story correctly, I got stung, and Chandler had to pee on my leg. And this was before Chandler and I started dating.
This is Friends. What? Yeah, this is Friends. You're imagining yourself as Monica, which is a little weird.
then this guy at work ate my brother's sandwich, and he's like, "My sandwich!" And then Phoebe had a dream.
You're still imagining yourself as Monica in this situation, which is very strange to me.
Well, I mean, she's cool.
I don't disagree. She's kind of a nerd in Friends, but whatever.
That's mean to me.
She's a little high strung.
I'm Monica, only Monica.
All right.
Have you played? But this is a Monica segue. Have you played Doki Doki Literature Club?
What? No.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
That sounds like cultural appropriation.
It's like, yeah, but it's Japan, and I feel at this point I've spent so much time immersing myself in Japanese culture that it's like it's too late for me. I'm too much of a Japanese fan. But Doki Doki Literature Club is like a parody of Japanese visual novels with like insane dark turns. You might like it. You might. I mean, is it like
what's another game where is it just like a talking game where you're just talking and figuring stuff out? Like
yes, yeah, exactly. But it's more like a visual story that happens to you, and it's like, it's like Danganronpa, but it's also like 15 minutes long, and it's like it has even less gameplay than Danganronpa. It's like more, it's more just like a mind fuck to. And
people. It's like Friends in what way?
Oh, there's a character named Monica who just wants to be with you.
Okay. So in that game, you're Chandler.
Yeah, exactly. You're
Could I be any more of Chandler Bing?
Could I be any more Doki Doki?
Yeah,
whatever that means. So the kids team up with. I've been meaning to get to this, but the kids team up with an American soldier who's sort of like a stereotypical American. Who seems to be a German guy doing an American accent.
Yeah, that was a strange take. Yeah, because all these children are definitely American doing German accents. Because some of them they slip up a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, that was also weird.
Yeah,
it was almost like they didn't have enough fat children in Germany, so they had to get American.
You had to get American kids. Those guys are American. Just fat as shit. Yeah.
They just went to a play place and they're just like scouting.
Just grab them out of there because it's like
no,
and you got to
can't get away.
They can't get away. The one you want is the one that can't get away because they're so they're struggling to get out of the ball pit and stuff.
It's like that old bumper sticker: "Fat people are easier to kidnap."
We're really fat shaming this episode, but it's not. We're not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty fat, so I think it's fine. It's like having a black friend.
Are you saying I have a fat friend?
I had a fat friend who had a small friend. I was answering a Twitter, like one of those like call and response Twitter things where it's like, what's your favorite thing? And it was like, what's your, it was one of our friends, a guy whose podcast I did, his cult film podcast, Cult Film Companion. And he, that's the one I watched Used Cars for, that crazy Kurt Russell movie I told you about. And, he was like, what bands were your top 5 bands? And I'm like, if it's me and Kolar combined, I want to know if I think I got this right.
Yeah.
I said Radiohead, Weezer, and Real Big Fish were our like top 3 together. And I couldn't think of like what would round that out as like our joint bands.
Aquabats, maybe?
I put Aquabats as a follow-up.
Yeah.
And I also put Streetlight because I was like, well,
fair.
I'm sure we saw that. But like, I couldn't think of anything else that was like
that's where my musical taste ended. I still only listen to ska and Radiohead,
which is kind of a weird matchup, really.
I don't remember the last time I listened to ska or Radiohead, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I don't really listen to them either, although I do still listen to and think about Gorillaz a lot.
Yeah,
but I don't think you and I listen to Gorillaz a lot together.
I listen to that one album a ton. I listen to Demon Days a ton, but not recently.
But anyway,
talk about these American saviors.
Yeah, Germans aren't plump, or maybe some Germans are plump, but Americans are plump. Let's be real. And so there's this American soldier who gets his leg injured, and they have to like make a crutch for him. Basically,
they use pie crust, as I recall, which is like they're not happy about it, but it's like
because they keep. And there's one kid, Hansel, who keeps trying to eat crutch throughout the movie. Yeah,
he's constantly munching on his leg, and he's like, "Stop it, you little strudel muncher! But you are so tasty."
And there's also a French guy who the joke is just that he's wacky in French and they can't understand him.
That's the entire bit.
Sort of like his comic relief. He's the guy who's like popping his head out of a manhole as a tank almost runs him over kind of guy. He's just there to be wacky and say like Zoodalores and stuff the entire time. But yeah, they basically they start by playing pranks on the Nazis, and it starts like innocent enough, like lighting firecrackers and dumping hot fudge on Nazis as they're walking by and stuff like that. Or like at one point they make the Nazis chocolates, and they fill them full of laxatives.
Right.
So then the Nazis are like shitting everywhere.
That's just like a classic. It's a classic prank for kids to do, is put laxatives in chocolate. But yeah,
right. Because one of them, their moms is all stopped up from eating nothing but chocolate and uses a laxative, and that's when the kid gets the idea. And but then it
escalates, right? Like they put a bomb in a cake. And it, like,
that's right. Well, as soon as the American gets involved, he gets them access. They're basically trying to use their tactics to get the American back together with his platoon.
Right.
And since they can't understand the French guy, he's just along for the ride and is like pantomiming all the time. Yeah. And they're just constantly trying to feed him chocolate while he says no the entire time.
Yeah, he says, I only like the cheese, or something like that.
And so they keep trying to find him cheese strudel to eat, and he like begrudgingly eats it, but then they feed him chocolate while he sleeps.
So weird.
And he keeps almost choking to death. It's really weird.
Well, I think the implication is that he hates anything that's not French food, right? Like that's like everything else to him tastes terrible.
Right, it's disgusting because he's used to the world-class French military rations.
Because at one point he sees like they're sleeping and he sees snails across a log and his eyes get really big and he's like,
yeah, he starts licking
these snails.
The snails, and the kids are like, that's disgusting, and then he starts eating the snails and they have to like pull him away from the log.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing to. It's like, I mean, it's okay to be racist towards French people, but it's you know.
Yeah, it's xenophobic or something, or I don't know even know what the word. It's not racist. French isn't a race. It's barely a country. So anyway, I'm just kidding. I love the French and their snooty ways.
What are so snooty?
So snooty. Why are we saying it in the German accent?
Because it's a German movie.
Oh.
Yeah, das ist ein German movie. Yeah.
Richtig. So basically, I keep saying basically, and it like drives. I should never have called myself out on it because it destroys me.
Yeah, you gotta stop saying it.
I just have to accept that I do say it.
I'll kick you every time you say it.
I'll feed you a celery. Force feed me a celery and strap me to this wall.
Every time you say basically.
So basically, nine! And then you just celery.
Nine! Celery in der Mouth!
Essen die Celery!
Essen!
If you want a cheat sheet for making words in German, just add en to the end of them then just shout them.
Yeah, and that is right.
Das Doggenspiel.
That kind of sounds Icelandic.
Yeah, it's pretty much. They're the same. It's all the same. So basically, I mean, there's a sequence where the snail sequence precedes them breaking into a fort to get munitions with the American soldier. And
once they meet the American soldier, it's no longer like fun and little games. They're killing people. They're actively killing German soldiers. But they sort of like they get off on it. It's not like they dislike it, which is weird.
They get off on it. They're like prepubescent kids just getting total murder boners.
It's weird.
They're
it's
just
weird.
Like,
it's a little.
They're kill horny.
They're kill horny. Yeah, they're a little kill horny. And I don't know if it's because all of it involves like sweets blowing up usually, so it's like they get to like.
They're catching the sweet explosions along with bone fragments on their tongues.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it is, but I don't know.
I think they're just happy to be like kids causing havoc in a righteous sense.
I guess. And I just say it's interesting that once the American got involved, it got more violent. And I don't know if that's a metaphor for like.
I think in my head it wasn't a metaphor, but I guess I mean in modern culture it kind of is.
But it's also just a war is already going on, so it's not necessarily like it's a war movie, so it's not really. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it.
They're going into this like encampment or fort. And they're trying to steal bombs that they're going to use to make exploding cakes and stuff to take out the Nazis.
They're chocolate bombs, yeah.
And so they put on this like German song review. I don't know if I could sing the song if I even tried, but it's basically the subtitles, and I mean there were subtitles at different parts of the movie when they speak in German when they're doing like German songs, but like it was like they're basically like we're the little chocolate boys, and they name check the Butterscotch boys as I think it's part of the refrain. Yeah, that's where
the
they
name
get
comes from.
Yeah, we're the Butterscotch boys. And so they put on this review, and all the Nazis are like thrilled to see something that's like delightful. It's almost a I'm realizing now it's almost a Tarantino Nazi movie thing, Inglourious Bastards, where it's like a setup where he's the American's stealing all the bombs, and he's also going, one of the kids who didn't want to participate in a song and dance goes with the American, and they're like in this jail cell, and they find the Frenchman who's down there, and that's when they bring him into their crew. They rescue him, even though they can't understand what he's saying, and so they steal all the bombs, and then the song and dance is over, but the American, like, I guess he just can't help being violent because he sets up a bomb that like blows up a bunch of the Nazis and lets them escape during the havoc, I guess.
Yeah, they're like wearing their lederhosen and shit and dancing and having a great time, and he just kills them.
The little German boys. It's sort of like Cartman doing his German dance, to be honest.
Yes, it was a little like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have, like, I don't know how they got all, like, the sets and props, though. That was the weird thing. There's, like, apparently there's just a little stage in case people want to do performances.
I mean, you gotta keep the morale up. It's like the, it's the
USO shows.
USO, yeah, it's the USO.
It's the SSO shows. This is a case a German milkmaid comes in and does like
Der
a
Milchmaiden ist hier.
Milkenspiel. Who wants to suckle on my Tittenspiel? Oh, yeah.
Mama. Yeah.
Milch.
The
sexy milkmaid show is my favorite part of the war.
When I was in Iceland, we stayed at this hostel, and there was these German guests as well, and we got up and we went to get some cereal, and then we tried to pour the milk, but all the milk was gone, and I saw these Germans like just full bowls full of milk and cereal, and I almost said something about Der Milch being my Milch. Der Milch ist mein Milch, and it's like I could have just asked the lady for more milk, but I was too tired, so I didn't. So I just
angry at the Germans.
But it's just like they're just gobbling up, and there's like clearly half a bowl of milk left. It's like, you didn't eat all that milk. Stupid.
Hey,
Germans.
It's a hostel, man. What's yours is mine, baby.
I know. Gotta get up earlier. Gotta get up early before those Germans. But they get up early. They never sleep.
Yeah, early to bed, early to rise. Gotta climb those mountains, play those flugelhorns. You know what I mean? It's just the life.
Ricola.
This is the life. Mountains are nice. Chrono Trigger reference for no one but myself.
So one of the kids' dad is like not second in command to Hitler. Basically, Hitler's like private chef, right? Like that's how they get access to the Bunker brothers.
Right. And there are two Bunker brothers who are there, and they're so lovable, and you should pay even more money for that. But they also, they've broken into that warehouse with the French guy at that one point, and they find that these shipments are going, they're like clearly marked to Der Fuhrer.
Yeah. It's and like so maybe use a code name, but no, they don't use a code name. I guess he's just a little arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was one of his fatal flaws.
I would say the worst thing about Hitler was he was a little arrogant.
He's a little bit of a jerk, just personally. That's like the worst thing about him, you know? Say what you will about Hitler, he wasn't cool. Like, it's just... but yeah, so they sort of conspired. The dad doesn't want anything to do with it because the dad has been up till this point, like getting them in trouble. There's a point where he basically locks the kids up in the basement or in
he's no Hitler sympathizer, but he also realizes like Hitler has this power and doesn't want his kids to get. He doesn't want all these kids to get hurt.
He's just a coward. Yeah, is what he is.
He's a dirty coward.
He's complicit he serves food to the Nazis because he's one of the best chocolatiers in Germany.
Yeah.
And like they, when he finds out that they've been using his supplies and stuff to hurt and kill the Nazis, he's furious because, he's also a single dad at this point too, because it's apparently like, during one of the attacks, his wife was killed inadvertently. And so I think that's what put the fear in him that he can't lose anyone else.
Right.
And that he has sort of like an impassioned plea to his son. Like, please don't get involved.
You must stop doing your chocolate pranks. And he's like, no, father. It's
the American who's like arguing with him, but it's eventually the son that like Hans who reaches him, and he's like, if we don't stop them, that's going to happen to other people's moms and other people's kids. And he realizes he has a duty to serve Hitler, an exploding cake.
Right.
Basically.
That's when he agrees to hide them all in the biggest chocolate cake. All the kids in the biggest chocolate. Well, I guess it's like a Trojan cake at this point. It's a Trojan cake horse.
Right. To get them into the bunker.
Yeah.
With one of these shipments from the thing.
Yeah.
And so, that's when it gets like crazy violent though, because they have like little eclairs that actually have submachine guns in them.
That was
they're
silly.
like gunning
down
really the Nazis. They explode out of this cake and just kill a bunch of Nazis. And they don't kill Hitler. Hitler narrowly avoids an exploding cake, and then they go into like the historical part where he like, he commits suicide with his wife and the kids and stuff that. And as the bunker's getting blown up, they reunite the American with his colleagues. And
while that's happening, all the kids are in the basement just eating Hitler's like mounds of chocolate, his hoarded chocolate. So I don't even know if they see him leave.
Yeah, and there's like a weird moment where there's like that little Nazi girl who was like, they had met at Hitler Youth Camp because apparently like she was so good. She was like,
she's a good Nazi.
She's like, well, I mean, she's good at being a Nazi.
That's why I said she's a good Nazi. What's I don't understand. What's confusing?
She's one good Nazi. They have a showdown. Her and Hansel, the sidekick, have a showdown where she's like, it's my duty to kill you, and Hansel throws down his eclair, and he's like, he makes an impassioned plea. It says, we're not all designed to be perfect. We're not supposed to be some perfect master race.
Yeah.
It's okay that we're not perfect yet. We're just kids.
Yeah. And that was a nice moment. But then, like, he undercuts it by, like, gobbling a cake like Garfield.
Well, yeah, he's eating while he's talking, which is weird. And then when she loses, when she gets touched by his speech, they immediately gun her down.
Yeah, they just
blasted the shit out of her.
Yeah. And I guess it's because she's like,
and the American's like, whoa. Yeah, it's like, well, she's a fucking Nazi. Who cares?
She's a Nazi. What do I do? Not kill Nazis? Have you seen them?
And then Hansel farts a little bit, and they all laugh, and it's like,
the tone of this movie took. It undercut the scene, like the emotion.
Yeah, they almost had a Jojo Rabbit moment, and then they just ruined it
with the longest fart noise from Melissa.
Hansel, I knew I should have stayed home today.
I feel like there's chocolate in my lederhosen, yeah.
Uh-oh. All right, we killed that little girl. Let's get out of here, gang.
Yeah.
And that's
Hitler's dead, and everybody lives happily ever after, I guess. And
yeah,
it also says at the end, like, it says this is a work of fiction at the end instead of the beginning, which is like, that's not how it normally works.
Yeah, but what they specifically say is that, like, some of this was a work of fiction.
Some of this is a work of fiction.
But they don't split hairs over what was real. as if to give them credit. But I guess it is from the other dimension, so maybe this is.
But then there's a list of like chocolatiers, like sort of like Schindler's List style that plays on this.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. All they listed was chocolatiers hurt or injured during the war. Yeah. And the worst part was it wasn't just the people, they were like This chocolatier lost 3 strudel in this bottle.
It listed what
like,
they lost, like specifically what they lost.
It was like the things they carried, but with cakes and pies.
It was very strange. Like, this one guy never baked again, and they made a big deal of that. It's like, well, I mean, there's worse things.
They also said in parentheses it was because he didn't feel like it.
Yeah, he didn't feel like it. He just didn't want to. It's like,
it wasn't war related at all. He just didn't feel like it.
He
never wanted to be a baker. His dad made him. It was like the longest parenthetical I've ever seen. It's like, for more on his story, visit your local library. Winky face.
It also said, we know baking isn't the same as chocolatiering, but it is in the same vein of food. So please don't take. That was the longest parent. Those credits were 50 minutes long.
Scroll. Yeah. It was like a Star Wars scroll. I can't believe. So anyway, that was the Butterscotch Boys.
Die, Butterscotch Boys.
Die, Butterscotch Boys. Die. Faster, Pussycat. Kill, kill. So how would you? How many strudel munchin would you rate this out of 10?
I mean, I really want some chocolate right now, so I think it did a job. So I would say like 8 out of 10 strudel munchers.
Yeah, I'd say 8 out of 10 is fair. Maybe 7.5 because like some of the moral messaging.
Yeah, I don't know what the moral was. What is the moral?
Gunning down that little girl Nazi who probably, was just like so propaganda-addled she didn't know what was going on.
It wasn't her fault. It's not her fault she stormed the Capitol on 9/11 or whatever.
Oh my god! Wait, that's too many things.
I'm saying who was worse, Hitler or Donald?
I think there's a difference between you're a 12-year-old. Now we're getting the questions I want.
Hitler or that little girl. Also, but seriously, right. Can we get some chocolate though? I saw a chocolate place. I think
I can't. I'm on a sugar-free binge.
I don't care. Just it's the other dimension. It's the other dimension. We can get some here.
New galaxy, intergalactic, planetary.
Cheat day. It's cheat day.
Okay. It's cheat day. Let's get some of that good chocolate. Everyone likes like Mounds or Raisinets.
All right. Nah, I'm less hungry. But
all right. Oh, they're flicking the lights in here. That means we gotta get out.
Our time is up. Our time is up. All right.
Yeah, it's free, but they got a bunch of people who want to come in. So that's the end of our inaugural episode of Bonus Features. If you enjoyed this episode, please tell your friends to check out our main feed and also to consider, donating to the Patreon and that sort of thing. Thank you so much for donating, and we really appreciate it. We're having a lot of fun coming up with these Patreon things. And if you have ideas for rewards and tiers and that sort of stuff, be sure to give us feedback on the Patreon page or on Twitter. We'd love to hear that. And there'll be another bonus episode coming soon. Thank you very much. Anything you want to add, Colsey Wolsey?
No, you got it. Let's get some chocolate. Let's get some chocolate, baby.
Let's get some chocolate. Yeah, I want some of that chalky Mounds action.
All right, let's go. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.